I married a South African girl. That's what it really boils down to. 15 years ago, I was working in a restaurant called the Barley Sugar in London, which is part of the Sugar Club group. And there was a cute waitress that came along, and I thought, yeah, she's great. And we got married, and she happened to be from Cape Town. So we kind of ended up in Cape Town via Singapore, Malaysia, London, all over. And then we got pregnant and we ended up here. Well, when I came to South Africa, I had been working in hotels for 5 years. I was a restaurant chef that found himself in hotels by accident. The hotels enabled me to travel around and to work in Asia and all different places and do all these different openings. But deep down, I've always been a restaurant chef. I've always been a creative person. And I felt after the time that I'd spent in the hotels, I'd learned a lot, but it was time for me to get back into the kitchen and get dirty again. So when I came to South Africa, I had a job at La Colombe, and in all honesty, my central focus was to be the best. The byproduct of that was a lot of anguish. My focus has shifted a lot since then, luckily. For me, I always felt when I was in the hotels that I hadn't reached my full potential as a chef. You know, I wanted to try everything, try everything I could from a creative point of view. Obviously, the money needed to open a restaurant here is a fraction of what it is in London. The risk is a fraction of what it is in London because the more money you put in, the more risk. There's a huge amount of competition. I think if you're good, you can make it really big in Europe, you know. But here it's easier to take that leap of faith because the consequences would not be quite as dire. Yeah, so it's like everything in life. It's a calculated risk, isn't it? You know, my food is me. It's a product of my life to date, and it's a product of my life right now. If I'm going to be honest with what I put on the plate, it has to be that. There's no dead set niche philosophy that I follow. I just want to do what I'm free to do, you know. I just had a fantastic meeting with my head chef and my two sous chefs there. We're starting to have these weekly kind of discussions, creative discussions, getting it formalized, getting it on paper. I've got these things bubbling, they got these things bubbling. How do we just keep it, you know, moving in the right direction? And we obviously also pull off each other, you know, so an idea is seeded and then it grows, you know, and then another one comes up. So, yeah, it's about pulling in from your surroundings and really what I've experienced, you know. I think the first time I went to the San Pellegrino Awards, I felt like, you know, for some weird reason I'd fluked it and like it wasn't, and my wife said to me like, but you're actually one of them, Luke. Like, you need to actually like acknowledge that to yourself. And I think just recently I've realized, you know, what the magnitude of you know, being recognized like that is. It's amazing. I mean, I'm quite humbled by it, you know, when I think about it. When we first opened, I knew every person that came in the door. I didn't remember their names because I just don't. Yeah. But I knew who they were, and I was like, oh, you. And, you know, they basically supported me, you know, so they mean a lot to me. And I think that was a really special time. You know, they felt part of this evolution. And then I see them now and again now, and they come in, and I'm, hey, how you doing? And they're like, geez, it's hard to get in here now. And I feel quite guilty about that, you know. My wife has got a lot more involved in the business and the creative side of the design and stuff like that, which is amazing. I was always like, you know, she would be involved, but just in the background. Whereas now we're having these kind of discussions with different people. We're finding amazing talent within the people that work here. I've got a waiter downstairs who approached my wife at the staff party drunk and said, I make these wire sculptures, these live sculptures. Like, do you think? She was like, amazing. I actually hate the outside of the test kitchen. Let's astroturf it and let's have this sculpture display. There's a young lady up here who does these beautiful origami flowers that she connects onto like, you know, branches and stuff. So there's artists and artisans and craftsmen that I've met through the opening of these restaurants, but there's also like, there's amazing people just even working here. I think it's all about just keeping your eyes, ears, talking to people, just being open, and and that's something my wife's brilliant at. She's like, great idea, let's do that, and just let it flourish. If you can get a win-win, then run with it. And I think that's a big part of my job now, is finding win-wins. Where Kimmy, she walked past me earlier on, and I've been thinking, like, she's getting better and better at these things. Like, we should just do an exhibition up here. We should do a live exhibition. Why not? It's a win-win. The only downfall would be if she became hugely successful, she would stop working here. But I mean, so be it.